All right, so if you're leading a B2B sales organization right now, I want to start with maybe an uncomfortable truth.
Okay, let's hear it.
A huge chunk of what your team does every single day, the cold calling, it's probably making your prospects, well, it's making them actively dislike you.
That's a bold way to put it, but
Yeah,
it's just the reality. We all know that pain point. I mean, study after study shows that B2B buyers find those unsolicited calls really intrusive,
irrelevant even.
totally irrelevant. And for sales leaders, the result is what? High turnover, burned out reps, and pipelines just clogged with leads that go nowhere.
Exactly. But here's the thing, and this is the massive takeaway from our sources today, especially from the strategies laid out by the sales experts. Cold calling isn't dead.
Not at all. It's still fundamental to B2B.
It is. The problem isn't the tool, it's the approach. The strategy itself is obsolete. It's toxic.
And that's our mission in this deep dive. We want to give you, the sales leader, a blueprint to pivot that whole strategy. We're talking about moving away from that, demoralizing numbers game.
Yeah, just dialing for dollars.
Right. And moving into an approach built on genuine connection and real verifiable trust. This is how you turn cold calling from a necessary evil into a consistent engine for real sales success.
Okay, so let's frame the conflict first. Because the difference between the old way and the new way is, well, it's everything.
It's night and day.
The old way, and this is probably what most teams are still using, it's purely transactional. It's all about volume. Massive lists, robotic scripts.
And just relentlessly pushing for that appointment no matter what.
Regardless of whether the prospect is even ready or a good fit.
And the consequence of that, it's not just bad conversion rates, it's actual strategic damage. Every single one of those failed high-pressure calls, it burns your credibility.
Not just for the rep, but for the whole brand.
For the whole brand. It's totally unsustainable. You're prioritizing these short-term metrics like dials over what really matters, which is qualified opportunities.
So what's the new way, the trust-based way? How does that shift the paradigm?
It completely changes the objective of the call itself. The goal isn't to force a sale anymore. It's not even about getting the meeting, not at first.
So what is it?
The goal is to build enough mutual trust to just explore fit. To qualify if there's even a reason to talk further. It turns that adversarial push into a collaborative discovery.
I think what's fascinating there for leadership is that this has to come from the top down. You have to change what you reward.
100%. If you reward sheer volume, you're going to get transactional behavior. It's that simple. But if you start rewarding qualified, trust-based conversations, you change the entire output of your pipeline.
Okay, so let's get into the actionable stuff. Let's unpack the 3 big insights for the sales experts that leaders can implement right away. The first one feels most fundamental. Shifting your rep from a pitcher to a helper.
Yeah, and this is so much more than just a motivational poster. It's a real operational change. A pitcher is focused inward. They talk about features, benefits, our solution.
It's all we.
Exactly. A helper is focused completely outward, on the prospect's world.
So how do you actually operationalize that in a training session? How do you get reps to suppress that instinct to just, talk about their amazing product?
You restructure the first 5 minutes of every cold call training. It's not about the product specs. It's about diagnostic questioning. A helper's first job is to understand the prospect's challenges.
To find the pain.
To explore the pain. What are the costs of those challenges, both financial and operational? You guide the prospect to understand their own situation better. The second a rep launches into an uninvited pitch, that trust is just broken.
So the helper approach isn't just about being nicer. It's about controlling the conversation by positioning the rep as an intelligent resource, not just another vendor.
Precisely. And this is where that Stephen Covey principle, seek first to understand, then to be understood, becomes your mantra as a manager. When a prospect feels heard, when they realize the rep actually gets their context, you've just secured the foundation for any complex B2B sale. If you don't earn that trust in the first, say, 3 minutes, the rest of the call is just going to be defensive.
But I can hear the pushback already from some veteran reps.
Yeah.
The old school guys who say, if I don't pitch hard, I lose control. I'm just wasting time. What's the counter to that?
The counter argument is ROI. It's all about ROI. That high-pressure approach, sure, it leads to appointments. But with prospects who are fundamentally unqualified or just not interested.
They just took the meeting to get you off the phone.
Exactly. And now you're wasting everyone's time. Your sales engineer, your executive sponsor. You're wasting your own time. A helper qualifies ruthlessly up front, based on a genuine alignment of needs, not a rushed yes.
That brings us perfectly to the second insight, which is about the actual tools of the trade, mastering language and diffusing pressure right away. If the mindset is helper, the language has to match.
Oh, absolutely. That ingrained sales speak is the #1 enemy of trust. We have to get rid of these robotic canned scripts. You know, the ones, they sound like they were written by an AI from 1998.
And they immediately put the prospect's guard up.
Instantly. It trips their defense mechanism.
So give us some concrete examples. If you're in a training room right now, what's a language shift that has a huge impact?
Okay. A big one is permission-based phrasing. Traditional language is really pushy, like, are you interested in exploring how we can save you 15%?
Right, that feels like an interrogation.
It is. It frames it as a one-sided thing. Now, contrast that with more collaborative human language. Train your team to say something like, would you be open to a quick 5-minute exploration to see if what we do applies to your current priorities?
Interested in versus open to.
Yeah.
The psychological difference there is massive. One demands a commitment, the other just invites a conversation.
It's the whole essence of methods like Ari Gelper's Unlock the Game. The goal isn't to close them. The goal is to explore fit. When you introduce yourself and immediately say, I called you to see if there is any mutual fit here, you just diffuse the entire pressure bomb.
You're signaling that you're not going to chase them.
Exactly. You're saying, I'm here to see if this makes sense for both of us. And that relaxed, honest starting point is the only way you're going to get real, unfiltered information.
Okay, so what if the rep senses tension? The prospect sounds rushed, they're resistant. The old training says to push through, overcome the objection.
The new strategy says do the opposite. Step back, acknowledge the tension, and diffuse it. A great line is just, it sounds like I caught you at a bad time, and I apologize for that. I can see why this might not be relevant right now.
I like that. It's respectful.
It is. Then you can offer an out. Would it be better if I send over a quick email, or is this simply not a priority? That respectful retreat builds so much more goodwill than any aggressive rebuttal ever could. You keep the door open.
Which makes total sense. You're playing the long game. And this leads us straight into our third insight, which feels like the most critical one for pipeline quality. Prioritize connection over just chasing. Connect. Don't just call.
This is, it's completely non-negotiable in modern B2B sales. Every single dial has to be preceded by some targeted homework. For a sales leader, this isn't a suggestion. It's an investment in efficiency.
But what's realistic here? In a high-velocity environment, you can't spend 30 minutes researching every single call, right?
No, of course not. We're talking about strategic research. 90 seconds to find something that gives you context. Look for trigger events, a recent acquisition, a new product launch, a key hire.
Something you can actually use.
Something you can use to open the call with a personalized hook. Like, hey, I saw you recently announced the merger with Company X, and I imagine that's creating some complexity around integrating your supply chains. Is that top of mind right now?
That immediately differentiates the call from 99% of the others they get. It shows you actually cared enough to look them up.
It earns credibility instantly. And that credibility feeds right into the second part of this. Stop chasing prospects. If your homework or the first minute of the call tells you there is zero fit,
They're too small, wrong industry.
they just solved the problem last week, whatever it is, the rep has to have the discipline to move on with dignity.
But that feels so counterintuitive to how salespeople are trained, which is never give up. Managers are measured on pipeline size, so reps are encouraged to keep every lead in play.
And that's just a totally broken strategy. The material from the sales experts was crystal clear on this. A sales superstar working off a bad, unqualified list will have their performance gutted.
Wow, gutted.
Yeah. The manager's job isn't just to push for volume, it's to be the guardian of quality. A bloated pipeline full of bad leads creates false hope, it wrecks your forecasting, and it just demoralizes the team.
So strategic qualification isn't a luxury. It's an executive mandate for accurate planning and for team morale.
Exactly. When you release a prospect with respect, you're saying, I value my time and I value yours. We're not a fit right now. That non-chasing approach is incredibly powerful. When they are ready, they're much more likely to call you back.
It fundamentally changes the manager's role from being a pipeline cheerleader to a strategic filter.
Right. And your tech stack has to support that. Your CRM should capture why a lead was disqualified, not just a checkbox that says, not interested. Understanding why they're not a fit is how you refine your targeting for the next round.
So let's pull all this together. What does this huge strategic pivot really mean for a sales leader who wants to stop the burnout and start building something sustainable.
It means you are changing the core definition of a cold call. It's no longer this necessary evil of intrusion. It becomes a disciplined, trust-based function of efficient opportunity qualification. You're shifting the focus from just generating activity to generating genuine relational equity.
So by adopting that helper mindset, mastering collaborative language, and ruthlessly prioritizing quality connection over sheer volume, you're actually eliminating pressure on both sides.
That's it. Cold calling, when you do it this way, becomes a process where only good fit relationships move forward, and that dramatically increases your conversion velocity down the line.
So the ultimate takeaway for leadership is what?
It's that the quality of your cold calling success is directly proportional to the quality of respect and connection you offer. When you start treating prospects like people you want to collaborate with, not just targets on a list, you elevate the success and, frankly, the longevity of your entire sales organization.
So take this back, share it with your sales managers, and look at your training manuals right now. Are you teaching pitching or are you teaching helping? That one distinction could define your pipeline's health for the next year.
And if you're ready to dive deeper and actually implement these trust-based strategies across your whole organization, we really encourage you to take that next step.
Visit thesalesexperts.com. You can explore a ton of resources there, including programs like the Rainmaker Cold Call Magic Program. It's time to stop chasing targets and start building trust.
Go make those genuine connections. And remember, sustainable growth in B2B always starts with the integrity of the conversation.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.